Up next, we have Kane Andrews, CEO and founder of Rockstar Property Partners, who's going to be talking to us about how to acquire £25 million worth of property. Might just be enough to retire on. Having started out in performing arts as a drummer, Kane's successful business career spans 13 years across multiple industries, and he has done it all without ever working for someone else. Lovely. Also known as Mr. Rockstar, Kane has bought 25 million of property all by the age of 34 and built his portfolio from the ground up, having bought his first house at 22. So anything he doesn't know about property investment probably isn't worth knowing. Thank you very much, Kane.
Thank you. I think you've just covered it all. I think we're all done here. But yeah, nice to meet everybody here. My name is Kane Andrews. As you said, they're the CEO and founder of Rockstar Property. So my sort of whole point of today is really to give you guys a bit more of an insight into property investment. But before I get started, can I just have a show of hands of anyone that has ever bought a property in the room? Wonderful. Has anyone ever bought more than one property? Has anyone bought more than 5 properties? Okay, great. All right, so we're in a good crowd here. I just also want to kind of mention a bit about my story and how I kind of started, although a lot of it was very well described, so thank you for that. So I saved £9,000 from a tour that I did as a performer, and I was 22 years old. I refused to turn 23 until I invested that money into a property. So 4 months before my 23rd birthday, I took the £9,000, and no, I didn't buy in London with £9,000. Wouldn't even cover the legal fees. But I actually kind of ended up in a property in Nottingham, and it was a 2 up, 2 down. I rented it out, and I got a 13.5% yield at the time, which I was quite happy with. But the second property was probably the most prevalent. And there was one conversation in particular in an area in which, trying to find the gentleman from Farnham, there he is, that I bought this property. It was worth 240 grand. I bought it 190, just about scraped the deposit together. And I know I got it at a good price. So I asked the estate agent to come round and say, give me a valuation before I started doing the refurbishment. And he said, Kane, this is probably the only 2-bedroom house on this estate. You could turn this into a 3-bed. He said, if you put a partition wall down here and a window in this box room, that's a bedroom. Oh, and if you partition downstairs from the kitchen to the lounge, turn the lounge into another bedroom, you've got yourself a 4-bed. Mind blown. He said, oh, and by the way, there's a university in Farnham, the UCA. Why don't you go and rent some rooms to them for £550 a month, rather than getting the £800 that the next door neighbour was getting for the same house to a family that he rented to. It was 3 times the amount of rent. So I did that. And that one conversation of turning a property into a HMO, has anyone heard of a house with multiple occupancy, started what has taken me to today, and I can actually tell you, this is my fault, that 25 million surpassed 30 million as of yesterday, 72 HMOs. From that one conversation of a partition and a window. So 30 mil, never had a job. I would be a terrible employee. I probably look exhausted because I'm a 3 a.m. guy, and I'm still working like I'm 21 and I'm 35. So, you know, my kind of whole point to you today is to kind of give you more the possibilities about property. So that's a bit about my story. But did you know that you can invest in property from 5 grand? Is anyone aware of that? Yeah? Well, you can with me because of the way in which I structure the type of deals. Without sort of being so crude, put your hands up if you've got 5 grand or more available in your bank right now. Right. So, you know, we invest in property in very creative ways. We invest using investors' money, and if you've got 50 grand or under, we give a fixed return. And I really kind of back up what's been said today, just in regards to the excess funds. I mean, everybody's talk about having the additional funds in the account. What do you do? And as the property guy, and thank you, Mr. Rockstar, you're calling me, that's the staff that call me that, not myself. You know, I want you to be aware that there are opportunities for you to invest from as little as 5 grand into property, not only to earn the money, and this is what I've learned a lot about investors over the years, and we raised about £5 million over the last 3 years. What I've learned is investors don't just want a return when it comes to diversifying into property. They want to learn. They want to earn and learn. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's certainly what we offer. So that's a bit about me. Checking on the time. I think we're hopefully okay. Hopefully, just from this very short speech, you've learned the possibilities if you kind of take one conversation, one small seed, and run for nearly 14 years, which is what it will be in April, you can really create something quite lasting, which is certainly what my intention has been. And the second thing I want you to take from this is that you can invest in property from 5 grand. You just need to meet the right person at the right time, maybe this evening. Let's see. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.